When this campaign started, it felt like spring. Summer has finally arrived, for now at least, here in Nottingham. And so too, the two men wanting to be Prime Minister the weekend after next.
Good evening.
Tonight, the beginning of the sprint finish to polling day. First up, Sue, and you probably won't be surprised by her question.
People are dismayed by the lack of integrity and honesty in politics today. After the recent allegations about political betting, how would you restore trust in politics?
This takes leadership. What I did when one of my team was alleged to have been involved and investigated by the Gambling Commission, they were suspended within minutes.
I was furious to hear about these things. That's why I've dealt with it. But the choice of this election is about, as Sue said, it's about leadership, it's about integrity in politics. And that is a question about doing what you say. Keir Starmer's made this broader point, but the point is he's changed his mind on every major position that he's taken.
Sir Keir jabbed back. What about wider questions of culture in government, he asked.
This isn't just what's happened this week, last week in the Gambling Commission. We saw Partygate earlier in this Parliament. The Prime Minister himself was convicted and fined for breaking the rules which he brought in and imposed on everybody else.
Next, on to a question about benefits as the exchanges got more punchy, energised, personal.
And I just want to address Beverly's point.
You opposed it when I announced it. You literally opposed it.
If you listen to people in the audience across the country more often, you might not be quite so out of touch. Beverly...
You are going to have higher welfare under you, and that's why you can't deliver tax cuts the way that I can.
The Prime Minister
and people
said,
should not surrender to this.
If there's that much wrong with the system, who's the guy in charge of the system over the last 14 years? Why is it so bad?
Well, you want to be in charge, but you've got nothing to say to people about what you would do about it.
We're an island. Why can't we easily close our borders?
If Keir Starmer is your Prime Minister, all those illegal migrants will be out on our streets. And that is the choice for you. Do not surrender our borders to the Labour Party.
Steve, this is complete and utter nonsense.
On the numbers.
Sir Keir said, hang on.
If it were working, why are record numbers still coming under your watch, Prime Minister? How on earth can you say it's working?
Labour want more return agreements, which Rishi Sunak took the mickey out of.
Iran, Syria, Afghanistan. So when Keir Starmer says he's going to return people, is he going to sit down? Are you going to sit down with the Iranian Ayatollahs? Are you going to try and do a deal with the Taliban? It's completely nonsensical what you are saying, right?
Next, the economy, and Rishi Sunak returning to a favourite theme.
I say that the Labour Party's policies will mean all your taxes are going to go up by thousands of pounds. It is in their DNA. Mark my words, your pension, your council tax, your home, your car, you name it, they will tax it.
Well, pensioners are not going to be better off with the Prime Minister who's making promises that he can't keep because they're not funded. That's exactly what Liz Truss got wrong. We cannot... There's one thing that we cannot repeat at this election. Please do not go back to Liz Truss Mark II with this Prime Minister because the same damage will follow.
The whole point of nights like this is the power lies with the audience in the room. And Robert made the most of it.
Mr Sunak, I think you made a fair job of being Chancellor, but you're a pretty mediocre Prime Minister. Sir Keir, I think that your strings are being pulled by very senior members of the Labour Party. Are you two really the best we've got to be the next Prime Minister of our great country?
My primary job was to deliver that economic stability so I could start cutting your taxes. That is the journey we're now on. So whatever your other frustrations, the choice for you at this election is about the future.
It has to be rooted, if we're going to restore hope, in my view, in returning politics to service. The sense that you come into politics to serve.
And then...
Vicky in Oxfordshire, who asks this: will you protect women's right to single-sex spaces from any and all males, regardless of if they hold a GRC, a gender recognition certificate? Rishi Sunak?
Yeah, yes, unequivocally. I get that not all of you will agree with my position, right? But I'm being clear with you. Sex means biological sex. You have to change the Equalities Act to deliver the security of women's spaces and women's services. That's what I believe the right thing for our country is.
Keir Starmer said it was important to protect women's spaces and added...
I will treat them as I treat all human beings, with dignity and respect. And I'll tell you for why. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, standing in Parliament, making an anti-trans joke in front of the mother of a murdered trans teenager. I will never, ever allow myself to be put into that position.
Brexit was discussed too, as were prospects for young people, and then this flashpoint during their closing statements.
And before you make that choice, think what a Labour government would mean. Can you afford to pay at least £2,000 more in tax?
That is a lie.
Thank
He's been
you very
told
much.
not to repeat
And
that
this
lie, and
is-
he's just done it.
And this is your closing statement, Keir Starmer.
If you want to end 14 years of chaos and rebuild our country, then that power is in your hands.
And that was it. 5 weeks after this campaign began, its final set-piece moment had finished.